Little did they know that reaching the keystone would be just the beginning of an even greater transformation, one that would challenge the very foundations of their reality and push the boundaries of what they believed possible. With renewed purpose and a deeper sense of unity, they set off on the final leg of their journey. The keystone pulsed ahead, promising not just the completion of this trial, but a fundamental shift in their understanding of Zephiria, the multiverse, and their own place within it. To reach it, you must achieve true unity, not by erasing your individuality, but by understanding how your unique perspectives contribute to the whole. As this truth settled over them, the team felt a profound shift. The chaotic landscape of Reality Prime began to harmonize with their newfound understanding. The path to the keystone, once obscured by their own mental barriers, now lay clear before them. As they did so, the path to the keystone became clearer, the obstacles less daunting. Even Aldrich, though still struggling, began to open up. As he did, the dark energy that had been emanating from him started to dissipate, replaced by a cautious light of understanding. The Thought Weaver's voice echoed around them once more. You begin to understand. The keystone is not just an object, but a state of being. Even the keystone's glow seemed to intensify, as if approving of their progress. Jack, his empathic senses tingling, realized what was happening. "This is it," he exclaimed. "This conversation, this attempt to understand and accept each other, it's exactly what we need to do to navigate this reality." With this revelation, the team found a new sense of purpose. They began to share their fears, their hopes, their fundamental beliefs about themselves and the universe. "Everything I am." Elena stepped in, her voice gentle but firm. "It's not about surrendering who you are. It's about expanding your understanding of what that means. We're not losing ourselves in this unity. We're becoming more than we were." As they talked, something remarkable began to happen. The swirling chaos around them started to calm, responding to their efforts to understand and connect with each other. As they reached a momentary calm spot in the chaotic landscape, she called for a halt. "Aldrich," she said, turning to face him, "I know this is difficult for you. Letting go of control goes against everything you've built your life around. But right now, your resistance is endangering all of us and our mission." Aldrich's face was a mask of conflicting emotions. "How can you ask me to simply surrender my identity?" "The Keystone's energy signature is constant," he observed. "If we can attune ourselves to it, we can cut through these illusions." But as they progressed, Aldrich's internal struggle continued to cause problems. Dark tendrils of doubt and fear would occasionally lash out, distorting their surroundings and nearly breaking their concentration. Amelia, sensing the growing tension, realized they needed to address this before it tore them apart. "We need to listen, but not get lost in them." As they navigated through the forest, flashes of insight bombarded them, glimpses of Zephirian history, fragments of cosmic wisdom, tantalizing hints about the nature of the multiverse. It took all of their concentration to stay focused on their goal and not get swept away by the flood of information. Meanwhile, Marcus was using his newfound understanding of Reality Prime's underlying patterns to help stabilize their path. The trees seemed to whisper with 1,000 voices, each one trying to draw them off the path. Sam, with his deep connection to nature, took the lead here. "These aren't just trees," he explained, his voice filled with wonder. "They're repositories of knowledge, of memories. An invisible bridge materialized with each step, glowing faintly as it responded to their collective belief." As they crossed, Elena noticed strange symbols appearing in the air around them. Her enhanced linguistic abilities allowed her to interpret them. "These are thoughts," she realized. The very fabric of this reality is woven with the consciousness of its inhabitants. The next challenge came in the form of a dense, dark forest that sprang up before them. We need to stay focused and united. They approached the first obstacle, a chasm that seemed to stretch infinitely deep, its edges constantly shifting. Jack, drawing on his newfound empathy, sensed the fear rippling through the group. "It's not real," he assured them. "It's a manifestation of our doubts. If we believe we can cross, we will." Taking a deep breath, Jack stepped forward and found solid ground beneath his feet. The landscape around them continued to shift and warp, reflecting the tumultuous thoughts and emotions of the group. As they moved forward, they found themselves navigating a series of ever-changing obstacles, each one a manifestation of their collective psyche. Amelia, still maintaining the mental link between them, guided the team. "Remember, everything here is a reflection of our thoughts." Could they transcend their individual limitations and work as one to claim the keystone? And even if they succeeded, how would this profound experience change them? The answers to these questions would shape not just their journey, but potentially the fate of multiple realities. With a shared breath, the team took their first step towards the keystone, ready to face whatever reality Prime had in store for them. They would have to navigate this mental and physical labyrinth together, balancing their individual strengths with their newfound unity. As they prepared to make their way towards the keystone, each team member knew that this journey would require more than just physical prowess or intellectual skill. It would demand a fundamental shift in how they perceived themselves and their place in the universe. The true test of Zephiria was unfolding before them. It seemed to call to them, a beacon of stability in the turbulent sea of thought and emotion. "The keystone," Elena gasped, her expanded linguistic sense recognizing the object's significance. "It's revealing itself to us." But reaching it wouldn't be easy. The distortions caused by Aldrich's resistance created a maelstrom of shifting reality between them and the keystone. "You must find balance, or reality Prime will reject you." Amelia, realizing the danger, made a split-second decision. Using her newfound awareness, she reached out to her teammates, creating a mental link between them. "Everyone, focus on me," she projected. "We need to counteract this distortion together." As the team struggled to unite their minds, something unexpected happened. In the midst of the swirling chaos, a small, pulsing light appeared. "We need to maintain control." As Aldrich's fear and anger peaked, a shockwave of dark energy burst from him, shattering the delicate balance the team had been building. Reality. Prime warped around them, landscapes twisting into nightmarish shapes reflecting Aldrich's inner turmoil. The Thoughtweaver's voice cut through the chaos. "Beware. Disunity in this realm can have catastrophic consequences." As he fought against the exercise, dark tendrils of energy began to emanate from him, causing distortions in the surrounding reality. Amelia, sensing the discord, tried to reach out to Aldrich mentally. "Let go," she urged. "We need to work together." But Aldrich's resistance only grew stronger. "This is madness," his thoughts boomed across their shared consciousness. "We're losing ourselves." The emotional weight was almost unbearable, yet deeply enlightening. Sam, initially overwhelmed, found an unexpected sense of peace. His connection to the natural world, always strong, deepened to a level he had never imagined possible. He could feel the pulse of life in every atom of this strange reality. Aldrich, however, struggled. His mind, accustomed to control and manipulation, resisted the idea of unity. Marcus's scientific mind expanded beyond the confines of traditional physics. He perceived the underlying mathematical patterns of reality Prime, seeing how thought and emotion translated into tangible effects on the environment. The scientist in him was both thrilled and terrified by the implications. Jack experienced a profound sense of empathy, feeling the hopes, fears, and dreams of not just his teammates, but of every being in this reality. Let go of your individual identities. Perceive the interconnectedness of all things. As they struggled to follow these instructions, each team member had a unique experience. Elena found herself perceiving language in an entirely new way. Words became more than sounds or symbols. They were living entities, carrying the weight of countless minds and cultures. She saw how language shaped reality itself in this fluid world. As they closed their eyes and focused their minds, the world around them began to shift and blur. Amelia was the first to feel the change. It started as a tingling sensation at the edges of her awareness, then grew into a flood of sensory input. Suddenly, she could perceive the thoughts and emotions of her teammates as clearly as if they were her own. She gasped, overwhelmed by the intensity of the experience. Focus. The Thoughtweaver's voice echoed in their minds. Little did they know that this trial would not only test their ability to perceive unity in diversity, but would also strain the already fragile bonds between them. As they delved deeper into the mysteries of Reality Prime, the true nature of Zephiria, and their own inner selves, was about to be revealed in ways they could never have imagined. The team gathered in a circle, following the Thoughtweaver's guidance to begin their consciousness-expanding exercise. We need to expand our consciousness, to perceive reality as these beings do. It's the only way we'll find the keystone and continue our journey through Zephiria's mysteries. As they prepared to embark on this mind-bending task, the very fabric of reality, Prime seemed to hum with anticipation. The team stood on the precipice of a profound shift in consciousness, one that would challenge everything they thought they knew about themselves and the nature of existence itself. To find the keystone, you must transcend your individual selves and perceive the unity of all things. As the team pondered these words, the world around them seemed to pulse in response to their collective thoughts. They realized that their greatest challenge in this reality wasn't an external obstacle, but their own minds and the limits of their perception. Amelia took a deep breath, centering herself. All right, team. But finding it is not merely a matter of location, but of understanding. To locate the keystone, you must first grasp the fundamental nature of our reality. Elena, her linguistic skills adapting to this new form of communication, asked, "And what is that nature?" "That all is one, and one is all," the Thoughtweaver replied cryptically. "In this realm, separation is illusion." One stepped forward, its form solidifying into a more humanoid shape. "Welcome, travelers," it said in a voice that seemed to bypass their ears and speak directly to their minds. "We are the Thoughtweavers. We've been expecting you." Jack stepped forward, intrigued. "You know why we're here?" The Thoughtweaver nodded, its form rippling with the motion. "You seek the keystone, as all travelers do." His anxiety caused the ground beneath them to tremble and crack. "How are we supposed to find this keystone when everything keeps changing?" Amelia placed a calming hand on his shoulder, and the tremors subsided. "We need to work together, keep our minds focused on our goal. The keystone must be something constant in this world of flux." As they discussed their next move, a group of the smoke-like beings approached them. "Remember, we're here to find the keystone, not to play God." As they ventured further into this strange reality, each step brought new wonders and dangers. Plants sang melodies in languages they'd never heard, and creatures that defied description roamed the ever-changing landscape. The team quickly realized that their thoughts and emotions were influencing their surroundings. for better or worse. Sam, usually the most grounded of the group, found himself overwhelmed. This defies every law of physics we know. The implications are staggering. Aldrich, however, saw opportunity. His eyes gleamed as he focused his thoughts, causing a nearby building to reshape itself into a towering fortress. With this power, we could reshape our own world, end scarcity, disease, conflict, or cause untold destruction, Amelia cautioned, noticing how Aldrich's fortress cast long, ominous shadows over the landscape. But be warned, in this realm, your beliefs and perceptions will directly affect your surroundings. As if to demonstrate, a nearby tree suddenly sprouted wings and took flight, responding to Jack's fleeting thought. Elena's eyes widened in wonder. Incredible. It's as if the entire universe is responsive to consciousness itself. Marcus, ever the scientist, was already pulling out his instruments, trying to take readings of their surroundings. People, or rather, beings that resembled people, walked by, their forms shifting and changing as if they were made of living smoke. The voice from the Nexus spoke again, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Welcome to Reality Prime. Here, the laws of physics are malleable, and thought shapes existence. Your task is to find the keystone of this reality, an object that anchors this world to the multiverse. The first portal shimmered before them, its surface rippling like liquid mercury. As they stepped through, the world around them dissolved and reformed in a dizzying kaleidoscope of colors and shapes. When their vision cleared, they found themselves in a version of Earth that was both familiar and alien. The sky was a deep purple, dotted with 2 moons. The buildings around them were constructed of a strange, organic material that seemed to pulse with life. Remember, she said to her team, no matter what we face it together. The secrets of Zephiria are bigger than any one of us. As they approached the first portal, the air crackled with energy. They were about to step into the unknown, their journey through the heart of Zephiria's mysteries only just beginning. The trials ahead would test not just their ethics and knowledge, but their very conception of reality itself. Here, you will face the true nature of Zephirian power, the ability to shape and traverse the multiverse itself. Your next trial begins now. The mists parted, revealing a series of shimmering portals, each seemingly leading to a different reality. The team exchanged nervous glances, realizing that their understanding of the universe was about to be challenged once again. Amelia took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. Yet, there was also a new depth to their interactions, a shared understanding of the cosmic stakes they were dealing with. The pathway led them to another chamber, this one filled with swirling mists and shifting geometric patterns. As they entered, they felt a strange sensation, as if their very atoms were being gently pulled apart and reassembled. A new voice, neither male nor female, echoed around them. Welcome to the Nexus of Realities. The walls rippled like water, and a new pathway appeared before them. The voice spoke one last time. You have passed the first ethical trial, but your journey is far from over. The path ahead will challenge not just your morality, but your very understanding of reality itself. As they stepped onto the new path, the team's dynamics had clearly shifted. The unity they had formed earlier was strained, with Aldrich and a few others clearly disagreeing with the choice made. Aldrich was the first to break the quiet, his voice tight with barely controlled rage. You've doomed our world to centuries of suffering. How can you justify that? Amelia turned to face him, her expression resolute. We didn't doom our world, Aldrich. We gave humanity a chance to grow, to overcome challenges on its own terms, and we preserved a unique piece of the cosmic puzzle. Before Aldrich could retort, the chamber began to shift again. Yet, humanity persevered, slowly rebuilding and adapting. The alien world, meanwhile, flourished, its bizarre ecosystem evolving in ways that defied their understanding. As the images faded, the voice continued, "You have chosen wisdom over self-interest, the greater good over personal benefit. This is the first step towards true understanding of Zephirian principles." The team stood in stunned silence, the weight of their decision settling upon them. "We can't justify destroying an entire world we know nothing about, even if it means hardship for our own." The room fell silent for a moment. Then the deep voice spoke again. "Your choice has been made. Witness the consequences." The holographic display shifted, showing a fast-forward view of both worlds. They watched as Earth struggled through centuries of hardship, climate disasters, resource scarcity, and societal upheavals. Amelia quickly explained her reasoning. "Our newfound cosmic understanding has shown us the interconnectedness of all things. Earth is precious to us, but in the grand scheme of the universe, the unique life forms and ecosystem of the alien world may hold secrets and potential we can't even begin to comprehend." She paused, looking back at her team one last time. Their faces were a mix of anticipation, fear, and resolution. She turned back to the holographic display and continued, "We choose to save the alien world." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. Aldrich's face contorted with anger, while Elena's eyes shone with a mix of relief and sorrow. She looked at her team, then back at the spinning worlds before them. The true test of Zephiria was not just about knowledge or power, but about the wisdom to use them responsibly. With a heavy heart, she stepped forward, ready to voice their decision, knowing that this was just the first of many impossible choices they would face on their journey to uncover the secrets of Zephiria. "We choose," Amelia began, her voice wavering slightly. Aldrich's pragmatism clashed with Elena's empathy, while Jack and Marcus tried to apply logical analysis to an inherently emotional choice. The voice spoke again, adding pressure to their already strained deliberations. "Time grows short. You must make your choice. The fate of worlds hangs in the balance." Amelia took a deep breath, knowing that whatever they decided would irrevocably change them and potentially alter the course of the universe itself. Each team member grappled not only with the immediate choice, but with the implications of their newfound cosmic awareness. Amelia realized that this was more than just a test of ethics. It was a test of their ability to wield the incredible knowledge and power they had been given. Could they make decisions on a cosmic scale? Were they ready for such responsibility? As the debate intensified, fractures began to appear in their once united front, but she also felt the pull of responsibility towards her own world, her own species. Marcus, his scientific mind racing, suggested, "What if we analyze the potential outcomes for the universe as a whole? Which choice leads to the greatest cosmic good?" The room seemed to pulse with energy as they argued, the holographic worlds spinning slowly before them, awaiting their decision. "A compromise." The voice responded immediately. "There is no compromise. You must choose one or the other." Sam, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "We don't have the right to decide the fate of an entire world we know nothing about. But can we doom our own planet?" As the debate raged on, Amelia found herself torn. The cosmic knowledge they had gained showed her the value of every life form, every ecosystem in the grand tapestry of the universe. Aldrich was the first to speak, his voice firm. "The choice is clear. We save Earth. Our duty is to our own people, our own world." Elena shook her head vehemently. "But we've seen the interconnectedness of all things. Destroying an entire world and its unique life forms could have unforeseen consequences for the entire universe." Jack, his brow furrowed in concentration, added, "Maybe there's a way to use the technology to partially help both worlds. Alternatively, you can use the technology to save the alien world, but Earth will face centuries of hardship and potential collapse of civilization. You cannot save both. You must choose." The team looked at each other, the weight of the decision heavy on their shoulders. Their newfound cosmic understanding made the choice even more difficult, as they could now comprehend the full implications of either action on a universal scale. Between them floated a smaller hologram of Zephirian technology. The voice explained, "With the knowledge you now possess, you have the power to save one of these worlds from imminent destruction. The Zephirian technology can be used to protect Earth and ensure its continued prosperity for millennia to come. However, using it in this way will cause the extinction of the alien world and its unique ecosystem. Your choices will determine whether you are worthy of proceeding further." Amelia approached the pedestal cautiously, the others following close behind. As she neared, the device activated, projecting a holographic scenario into the air before them. The first dilemma materialized. A vivid representation of two worlds appeared. One was clearly Earth, while the other was an alien planet teeming with strange but beautiful life forms. It was a perfectly circular room, its walls shimmering with an iridescent light that seemed to shift and change as they watched. In the center stood a single pedestal, upon which rested a device unlike anything they had ever seen. The deep, resonant voice spoke again. "Before you lies the ethical paradigm, a creation of the Zephirians designed to test the moral fiber of those who seek their knowledge. It will present you with a series of dilemmas." The chamber before them pulsed with energy, and a new voice, deeper and more resonant than before, echoed around them. "You have seen the truth of the cosmos. Now, prove you have the wisdom to use it. Your trial of ethics begins." The team braced themselves, knowing that their newfound knowledge would be both their greatest asset and their most dangerous liability in the trials to come. The new chamber was a stark contrast to the cosmic vastness they had just experienced. "We have to be worthy of that responsibility." As they stepped into the new chamber, ready to face their next trial, the cosmic knowledge they had gained swirled in their minds. They had taken their first true step into the mystery of Zephiria. But the greatest challenges, and the true test of their character, still lay ahead. They had gained incredible knowledge, but at what cost? The unity they had formed was already showing cracks, as each of them grappled with the implications of what they had learned. Amelia, sensing the growing tension, spoke up. "Whatever comes next, we need to remember why we're here. Zephiria's secrets aren't just for us. They could change everything." They found themselves back in the library, changed in ways they couldn't yet fully comprehend. The voice spoke once more. "You have glimpsed the truth of Zephiria and your place in the cosmic order. But knowledge without wisdom is a dangerous thing. Your next trial awaits, where you must prove you can wield this understanding responsibly." As the library faded around them, replaced by a new chamber, the team exchanged glances. Elena wept silently, overwhelmed by the beauty and complexity of the universe. Marcus stood rigid, his scientific worldview shaken to its core. Aldrich, however, saw opportunity. His eyes gleamed with a dangerous light as he began to grasp the potential power at their fingertips. Just as it seemed their minds might shatter under the weight of this cosmic knowledge, the flow of information ceased. It wasn't just a city or a civilization. It was a nexus point, a place where the barriers between dimensions were thin. The Zephirians hadn't just built advanced technology. They had learned to manipulate the very laws of physics. As this knowledge poured into them, each member of the team reacted differently. Amelia felt a sense of awe and wonder, her mind expanding to encompass concepts she had never imagined. It was as if they were standing in the heart of the cosmos itself. Suddenly, information began to flow into their minds, not through words or images, but directly into their consciousness. They saw the birth of stars, the collision of galaxies, the dance of quantum particles. They perceived time not as a linear progression, but as a complex, multi-dimensional tapestry. And there, woven into the fabric of the universe, they saw Zephiria, technology that could change our world. We don't know enough to use that technology responsibly yet, Jack countered. Amelia's right. We need the bigger picture first. After a brief but heated discussion, the group reached a consensus. They would follow the path of cosmic knowledge. As they stepped onto the illuminated path, the library around them began to shift and change. The books and holographic displays melted away, replaced by a vast, star-filled void. If we're to truly understand Zephiria and its place in the universe, we need to expand our perspective beyond what we think we know. Elena nodded in agreement. It makes sense. The other paths might give us specific information, but this could provide a framework for understanding everything else we encounter. Aldrich frowned, clearly not pleased with the decision. And what of the practical knowledge we could gain? Little did they know that their decision would not only unlock the secrets of Zephiria, but also set in motion events that would challenge their understanding of the universe itself. After a tense moment of silence, Amelia spoke up, her voice steady despite the weight of the decision. "I think we should choose the path of cosmic knowledge," she said, gesturing towards the spiraling galaxy symbol. Each path offered knowledge that could change everything. But which one held the key to truly understanding Zephiria? And more importantly, which knowledge could they trust themselves and each other with? As they stood at this crossroads of knowledge, the very fabric of reality seemed to hold its breath, waiting for their choice. Suddenly, the library trembled, and the voice spoke again, this time with urgency. "Choose now, seekers. Time grows short, and the balance shifts with each moment of indecision." Amelia took a deep breath, knowing that their choice would irrevocably shape their journey. "We need to decide," she said. "As a team, our unity is crucial. Remember." The group fell silent, the weight of their decision hanging heavy in the air. Knowledge of their past might help us navigate the challenges ahead. Aldrich, however, was drawn to the technology path. "Think of the advancements we could bring back to our world," he argued. "We have a responsibility to learn as much as we can." As the debate continued, Amelia found her gaze drawn to the spiraling galaxy symbol. Something about it called to her, hinting at knowledge beyond their current understanding. Each one could hold crucial information, but we can't explore them all. Marcus, eyeing the atom symbol, spoke up. "The energy path could give us insights into Zephiria's power source. That knowledge could be invaluable." "But at what cost?" Sam countered. "We've seen what the pursuit of power can do. Maybe we should focus on their history and culture first. Understand who they were." Elena nodded in agreement. "Choose carefully, for the fate of Zephiria and your world hangs in the balance." The paths illuminated before them, each marked with a symbol, a DNA helix, representing biology and life sciences, a atom symbol, physics and energy, a pyramid, history and culture, a cogwheel, technology and engineering, a spiraling galaxy, cosmic knowledge and the nature of reality. Jack turned to the group, his expression serious. "We need to decide which path to take." Pathways formed between the floating books and displays, each leading to different sections of knowledge. The mysterious voice spoke again. "Before you lie 5 paths of knowledge. Each will reveal a piece of Zephiria's truth. But beware, knowledge gained cannot be unlearned, and each choice will close off other possibilities. It showed a three-dimensional model of what appeared to be an energy reactor, far more advanced than anything on Earth. "Incredible," he murmured. "With technology like this, we could revolutionize the world." Amelia, however, felt a sense of unease. "Remember what the voice said," she cautioned. "We need to choose our knowledge wisely. There could be consequences we can't foresee." As if in response to her words, the library shifted around them. Elena, her eyes wide with wonder, reached out to touch a floating tome. As her fingers brushed its cover, the book opened, its pages filling with text in a language she had never seen before. Yet, somehow, she could understand it. "It's adapting," she gasped. "The knowledge is presenting itself in a form we can comprehend." Aldrich, his earlier hostility momentarily forgotten, moved to a nearby holographic display. But as they would soon discover, some truths come at a great price, and the line between enlightenment and catastrophe is often thinner than one might think. As they ventured further into the vast library, the air hummed with an otherworldly energy. Books and scrolls floated past them, their pages rustling with unseen winds. Holographic displays flickered to life as they approached, showing glimpses of advanced technologies and long-lost civilizations. To prove your worth, you must unravel the mystery of Zephiria's past and future. But beware. Knowledge is power, and power unchecked can lead to destruction. Choose what you learn wisely, for every piece of knowledge gained will shape your path and potentially alter the course of history itself. The group exchanged nervous glances. The trial of knowledge had begun, and the secrets of Zephiria were waiting to be uncovered. The door dissolved, revealing a vast, impossibly large library stretching as far as the eye could see. Books floated in mid-air, their pages turning by themselves, while holographic displays flickered between ancient scrolls and futuristic data streams. As they stepped into this repository of knowledge, the door sealed behind them, and a new voice, different from the one in the main chamber, echoed through the library. "Welcome, seekers of truth." As they stepped onto the glowing path, the air around them seemed to thicken, charged with an energy that made their skin tingle. The doorway loomed before them, its surface rippling like liquid metal. Amelia, at the head of the group, paused for a moment, her hand hovering over the door's surface. "For Zephiria," she whispered, and pressed her palm against the cool, fluid metal. "Look," he said, pointing to the floor. As they watched, a path of softly glowing tiles appeared, leading to the doorway marked with the knowledge symbol. "I think the choice has been made for us." Amelia took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "This is it," she said. "Whatever lies beyond that door, we face it together." Agreed. One by one, the members of both teams nodded, a fragile unity forming in the face of the unknown. "If I'm interpreting it correctly, it represents knowledge and understanding. Given what we've seen so far, that seems like the logical place to start." Sam nodded in agreement. "Knowledge before action. It makes sense." Aldrich, seeming to have regained some of his composure, stepped forward. "And how do we know we can trust your interpretation? For all we know, you could be leading us into a trap." Before tensions could escalate, Jack intervened. The disembodied voice spoke again. "Choose wisely, for your path will determine not only your fate but the fate of Zephiria. Remember, only together can you hope to succeed." Amelia looked at the assembled group, her team and Aldrich's, former adversaries now forced into an uneasy alliance. "We need to decide," she said. "Which trial do we face first?" Marcus, studying the symbols intently, pointed to one that resembled a spiraling galaxy. "This one," he said. It was like the technology itself was testing us, judging us. Elena stepped forward, her eyes bright with realization. "Of course," she breathed. "These trials aren't just about our abilities. They're about our intentions, our character." As if in response to her words, the holographic display shifted once more, revealing 4 distinct paths leading from the chamber. Each path was marked with one of the symbols they had seen earlier. But then, slowly, the barrier began to dissolve. Aldrich and his team stumbled back into the main chamber, their faces pale and shaken. "What did you see?" Jack asked, curiosity overcoming his wariness. Aldrich shook his head, his usual arrogance replaced by a look of awe. "It was overwhelming. Machines that could think, energy sources that defied physics. But every time we tried to understand or control them, they slipped away. Can you hear me?" There was a moment of silence. Then Aldrich's voice came through, strained and uncharacteristically uncertain. "Blackwood, what's happening? This technology, it's beyond anything I've ever seen." "Listen to me," Amelia said firmly. "We need to work together." The voice said, "Division leads to failure. We have to unite to face these trials." There was a pause, and for a moment, Amelia feared Aldrich would refuse. The trials of Zephiria were about to begin, and the true test of their wisdom, courage, and unity was at hand. Little did they know that their greatest challenges and most astonishing discoveries still lay ahead. Amelia approached the shimmering barrier, her hand outstretched. As her fingers touched the surface, it rippled like water, and suddenly she could hear the panicked voices of Aldrich's team from the other side. "Black stone!" she called out. It's something more." Amelia took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. "All right, team. We need to get Blackstone and his people back here, and then we make our choice. The fate of Zephiria, and perhaps the world, depends on us passing these trials." As they moved towards the barrier separating them from Aldrich's team, the chamber seemed to pulse with anticipation. "We need to put aside our differences and work together to pass these trials." As if to emphasize her point, the chamber trembled slightly, and the air grew thick with an electric charge. The holographic display flickered, showing images of past civilizations rising and falling in rapid succession. Marcus, his eyes wide, checked his instruments. "The energy readings are off the charts," he reported. "Whatever this place is, it's not just some lost city. Unity is the key." Amelia turned to her team, her expression grave. "We need to work together," she said. "All of us, including Blackstone's team." Sam, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. "But how can we trust them? They were ready to steal our discovery just moments ago." "We don't have a choice," Amelia replied. "Whatever Zephiria is, whatever secrets it holds, I have a feeling they're too important and too dangerous to fall into the wrong hands." "My team will take the technology trial," he declared, already moving towards the corresponding exit that had appeared in the chamber wall. "Wait!" Amelia called out. But it was too late. As soon as Aldrich and his team crossed the threshold, a shimmering barrier sprang up, sealing them off from the main chamber. The voice spoke again, this time with a note of warning. "The trials must be faced by all. Division leads to failure. So we have to choose which trials to face. But how do we know what we're choosing?" As if in response to his question, the holographic display shifted, showing brief, tantalizing glimpses of each trial. One showed a vast library with books that seemed to write themselves. Another displayed a chasm spanned by an impossibly narrow bridge. A third revealed a chamber filled with what looked like advanced technology, pulsing with energy. Aldrich's eyes gleamed with greed. Choose your trials wisely, for each choice will shape your journey. On the map, several points illuminated, each labeled with a cryptic symbol. Elena stepped forward, her expertise in ancient languages kicking in. These symbols, she said, pointing to the map, they represent different attributes: knowledge, strength, compassion, and something I can't quite decipher. Jack nodded, his earlier fear replaced by determination. But it seems we're all in this together now, whether we like it or not. Before Aldrich could retort, the air shimmered, and a holographic display materialized in the center of the chamber. It showed a three-dimensional map of what appeared to be a vast underground complex. The disembodied voice spoke again. The path to Zephiria's heart is fraught with peril. Only those who demonstrate wisdom, courage, and unity may proceed. The chamber hummed with an otherworldly energy, casting an eerie blue glow over the faces of both teams. Amelia's mind raced, trying to process their sudden transportation and the implications of the mysterious voice's words. "What's going on, Blackwood?" Aldrich snarled, his composure slipping. "Is this some kind of trick?" Amelia shook her head, her eyes never leaving the armed operatives. "This is as new to me as it is to you, Blackstone." A voice, neither male nor female, echoed through the chamber. "Welcome, Seekers. You have passed the first test. But to unlock the secrets of Zephiria, you must prove yourselves worthy. The trials begin now." As the voice faded, the two groups faced each other, tension thick in the air. They had found Zephiria, but their adventure, and their danger, had only just begun. In a blinding flash, the clearing was empty. Both teams had vanished, leaving behind only the sounds of the jungle and the faint, lingering hum of ancient technology. Inside the temple, in a vast chamber that defied the laws of physics, Amelia and her team materialized, along with Blackstone and his operatives. As their vision cleared, they found themselves surrounded by holographic displays and pulsing energy fields. "Thank you so much for leading us straight to the prize." Amelia's mind raced, trying to find a way out of this situation. But before anyone could make a move, the humming sound intensified dramatically. The ground beneath their feet began to tremble, and the air crackled with energy. Suddenly, beams of brilliant blue light shot out from the temple, enveloping both groups. Amelia felt a strange sensation, as if her very atoms were being pulled apart and reassembled. But as they stood there, awestruck by the discovery, a series of sharp clicks behind them shattered the moment. The team turned to find themselves surrounded by Blackstone's operatives, their weapons trained on the explorers. Aldrich Blackstone stepped forward, a triumphant smile on his face. "Dr. Blackwood," he said smoothly, "I believe introductions are in order." I think we're close to the temple." As they crested a small rise, the jungle suddenly opened up before them, revealing a sight that took their breath away. In a vast clearing stood an enormous structure, its architecture unlike anything they had ever seen. Smooth, iridescent surfaces blended seamlessly with the surrounding vegetation, as if the building had grown out of the jungle itself. "The Temple of Zephiria," Amelia breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "Do you hear that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The team fell silent, straining their ears. At first, there was nothing but the faint rustle of leaves. Then, almost imperceptibly, a low humming sound reached them, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "It's coming from up ahead," Amelia said, her heart racing. Each one matched a marking on their map, confirming they were on the right path but also deepening the mystery. Marcus's equipment began to pick up increasingly strange readings. "The energy levels here are off the charts," he reported, frowning at his devices. "It's like we're walking through some kind of electromagnetic field, but different. I can't explain it." Jack, who had been uncharacteristically quiet, suddenly stopped in his tracks. "I've never seen anything like this," he muttered, machete in hand as he cleared a path. "It's as if the jungle itself is different here." Elena nodded, her eyes darting from tree to tree. "Look at the bark patterns," she said, pointing. "They're not random. There's a language here, hidden in plain sight." As they pressed on, more glowing symbols appeared, sometimes carved into trees, other times formed by strangely arranged stones or vines. The adventure was truly beginning, and the secrets of Zephiria were waiting to be uncovered, for better or for worse. As Amelia's team pushed deeper into the jungle, the environment around them began to change subtly. The vegetation took on strange, almost geometric patterns, and the wildlife grew eerily quiet. Even Sam, with all his experience, seemed unsettled by the unnatural stillness. "It seems," she said slowly, "that Zephiria is aware of our presence, and it's pointing us in the right direction." As they packed up camp and prepared to follow this unexpected sign, the air thrummed with anticipation. The jungle itself seemed to be coming alive around them, guiding them towards a destiny that none of them could have imagined. Little did they know that every step they took was being watched, analyzed, and followed by Blackstone's team. The first night passed uneventfully, but as dawn broke, Amelia's team awoke to a startling discovery. Etched into the trunk of a massive tree at the edge of their camp, a symbol glowed with a faint, bluish light, a symbol that matched one on their ancient map. "It wasn't there last night," Jack said, his voice hushed with awe. "I'm sure of it." Amelia touched the symbol, feeling a slight tingle in her fingertips. "We'll shadow them, let them do the hard work of finding the temple, and when the time is right, we'll step in and claim the prize." As both teams settled in for the night, the jungle around them seemed to pulse with an ancient, hidden energy. In the darkness, eyes watched, some belonging to the native wildlife, others perhaps to something far older and more mysterious. The fire crackled, sending sparks spiraling up into the night sky. Unbeknownst to them, just a few miles away, Aldrich Blackstone was addressing his own team. His cold eyes gleamed in the light of high-powered lanterns as he laid out his plans. "Dr. Blackwood and her team have a head start," he said, his voice sharp and commanding. "But they don't have our resources or our determination." A few of his operatives exchanged knowing glances. "I've been studying the symbols on the map," she said. "They suggest that the temple we're seeking isn't just a building, it's a gateway of some kind." Jack leaned forward, intrigued. "A gateway to what?" "That's just it," Elena replied, her eyes wide. "The texts are unclear. It could be a gateway to the city itself, or to something else entirely." A hush fell over the group as they contemplated the implications. The flickering flames cast dancing shadows on their faces, adding an air of mystery to the proceedings. "Tomorrow, we begin our journey in earnest," she said, her voice filled with a mixture of excitement and gravity. "We'll be entering territory that's been unexplored for centuries, possibly millennia. We must stay alert and stick together." Elena nodded, her fingers absently tracing the patterns on an ancient amulet she wore around her neck. "Nightfall comes fast in the jungle, and we don't want to be caught unprepared." The team worked efficiently, setting up their high-tech tents and establishing a perimeter. Marcus busied himself with setting up various sensors and devices, muttering about anomaly detection and energy fluctuations. As the last rays of sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, Amelia gathered everyone around the campfire. As Amelia's team disembarked from their plane, the humid air of the Amazon enveloped them like a warm, damp blanket. The cacophony of jungle sounds, birds calling, insects buzzing, and distant howler monkeys created an otherworldly atmosphere that immediately put them on edge. Sam took charge, his years of experience evident in every movement. "We need to set up camp quickly," he advised, eyeing the darkening sky. Behind them, the black helicopter touched down in a hidden location, and a team of black-clad operatives emerged, led by a man with cold, calculating eyes. Aldrich Blackstone had arrived, and he was determined to claim the secrets of Zephiria for himself, no matter the cost. The race was on, and the jungle held its breath, waiting to see who would uncover its ancient secrets first. "What kind of test?" "That," Amelia replied with a wry smile, "is what we're going to find out." As the plane began its descent towards the small clearing, the team felt a mix of anticipation and apprehension. They were about to step into the unknown, chasing a legend that had captivated scholars for centuries. Little did they know that they were not alone in their quest. The temple that supposedly guards the entrance to Zephiria should be about a 3-day trek from our landing site. Jack leaned in, his brow furrowed. "And you're sure the temple will lead us to the city?" Amelia's eyes gleamed with determination. "According to the map and the texts we've deciphered, the temple is just the beginning. It's a test designed to keep out those deemed unworthy of Zephiria's secrets." "A test?" Elena asked, intrigued. Hours later, as the vast expanse of the Amazon unfurled beneath them like a green carpet, Amelia unfolded the ancient map once more. Her fingers traced the route they would take once they landed, a journey through uncharted territory, following clues left behind by a civilization lost to time. "We'll land at this small clearing," she explained, pointing to a spot on the map. "From there, we'll have to continue on foot." As they boarded the plane, Amelia felt a shiver run down her spine. She chalked it up to excitement, but a small voice in the back of her mind whispered of caution. She shook off the feeling, focusing instead on the journey ahead. The plane's engines roared to life, drowning out the early morning birdsong. As they took to the skies, none of them noticed the sleek black helicopter that lifted off from a hidden location nearby, following at a discreet distance. "Finding Zephiria. It's the dream of every archaeologist and linguist." Marcus nodded, fiddling with a strange device in his hands. "And think of the technology we might uncover. The legends speak of advancements far beyond their time. Who knows what we might learn?" Sam, the guide, remained silent, his weathered face betraying a hint of concern. He'd seen firsthand how the jungle could swallow up the unprepared, no matter how well equipped they thought they were. The adventure was only just beginning, and the fate of Zephiria, and perhaps the world, hung in the balance. The team assembled at a small private airfield just before dawn. The sky was painted in hues of pink and gold as they loaded their gear onto the waiting cargo plane. Jack's excitement was palpable, his energy infectious as he double-checked their equipment. "I still can't believe we're really doing this," Elena murmured, her dark eyes scanning the horizon. She couldn't shake the feeling that this expedition would change everything, not just for her and her team, but for the entire world. "Ready or not, Zephiria," she whispered. "Here we come." As she stepped out into the warm summer night, the stars seemed to twinkle with anticipation. Little did Amelia know that her lifelong quest for knowledge was about to plunge her into a web of danger, ancient mysteries, and forces beyond her wildest imagination. In a chamber untouched by human hands for millennia, something stirred. The lost city of Zephiria had slumbered for thousands of years, but now, as two groups raced towards its hidden location, it began to awaken. Amelia Blackwood, oblivious to the forces aligning against her, zipped up her backpack and took one last look around her office. The map to Zephiria, was safely tucked away in a waterproof case, close to her heart. Why? We're going to join the hunt, of course. Zephiria's secrets could revolutionize technology as we know it. Imagine the profit potential. His eyes gleamed with avarice. And I always get what I want. With a wave of his hand, he dismissed Johnson and pressed a button on his desk intercom. Assemble Team Omega. We have a new mission. Meanwhile, deep in the heart of the Amazon, an ancient stone began to pulse with an eerie blue light. Blackwood thinks she can keep this discovery to herself. Does she? He mused, his voice a low growl. He turned to face the nervous-looking man standing before his desk. You've done well, Johnson. Your information is worth every penny. Johnson, the figure who had spied on Amelia and Jack, shifted uncomfortably. What are you going to do, Mr. Blackstone? Aldrich's smile widened, revealing teeth that seemed just a little too sharp. The race to uncover the secrets of Zephiria had begun, and the stakes were higher than anyone could have imagined. As Amelia and her team made their final preparations, a shadowy figure sat in a luxurious office halfway across the world. Aldrich Blackstone, CEO of Blackstone Industries, a multinational corporation with fingers in every pie from technology to archaeology, leaned back in his leather chair, a predatory smile playing on his lips. So, Doctor. As they gathered supplies and finalized plans, a sense of anticipation built among the team. They were on the cusp of a discovery that could rewrite history books and challenge everything we thought we knew about ancient civilizations. But unbeknownst to them, dark forces were already moving to intercept their expedition. Amelia and Jack worked tirelessly to prepare for the expedition, all while keeping their discovery under wraps. They carefully selected a small team of trusted experts. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a brilliant linguist specializing in ancient languages. Marcus Chen, a tech genius whose innovative equipment could prove invaluable in the field. And Sam Okonkwo, an experienced guide with unparalleled knowledge of the Amazon. The ancient Zephirians were clever. They built their city in the last place anyone would think to look. As they pored over the map, neither of them noticed the shadow that briefly darkened the window behind them. Outside, a figure melted back into the night, clutching a phone to their ear. "Boss," the figure whispered, "you're not going to believe what I just heard." The next few weeks passed in a whirlwind of activity. According to the map, the entrance to Zephiria lies hidden beneath an ancient temple, deep in uncharted territory. Jack's eyes widened. The Amazon? But that's thousands of miles from where most scholars believed Zephiria to be located. Exactly, Amelia replied with a grin, which is why it's remained hidden for so long. If word of this gets out too soon, we'll have every treasure hunter and their grandmother beating down our door. Jack nodded, chastened but still buzzing with excitement. You're right, of course, but where do we start? Amelia's finger traced a line on the map, coming to rest on a point deep in the Amazon rainforest. Here, she said. It had taken her team years of painstaking research, decoding ancient texts and following obscure clues scattered across the globe. And now, here it was, a map that promised to lead them to the heart of Zephiria. We need to assemble a team, Jack said, his mind already racing with possibilities. We'll need funding, equipment, permits. Amelia held up a hand, silencing him. Slow down, Jack. We need to be careful. The key to unlocking one of history's greatest mysteries. For decades, the lost city of Zephiria had been nothing more than a legend, a tale of a technologically advanced civilization that vanished without a trace over 3,000 years ago. Scholars had debated its existence for centuries, but no concrete evidence had ever been found. Until now. The parchment before them was the culmination of Amelia's life's work. At 32, his youthful enthusiasm contrasted sharply with Amelia's weathered experience. "The map to Zephiria?" he asked, his voice tinged with both excitement and disbelief. Amelia nodded, a smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. "Not just a map, Jack." The musty scent of centuries-old paper filled her nostrils, transporting her mind to a time long past. Her eyes, sharp despite her 55 years, scanned the faded ink lines that crisscrossed the yellowed surface. "This is it, Jack," she whispered, her voice barely audible in the dim light of her cluttered office. "After all these years, we've finally found it." Jack Ryder, her former student and now colleague, leaned in closer. "A 10-year-old girl pregnant, but not by a man. What happened will shock you. What would you do if a young girl from your community was pregnant? But there's no man involved. This chilling story will leave you speechless. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on stories that will challenge everything you think you know about life." Doctor. Amelia Blackwood's hands trembled as she unrolled the ancient parchment.